3014, 3020, 4724, 4310, 3615, 3017. Respond to a first alarm. Report of a house fire, Paul Avenue and South Florissant Road.
Hello, my name is Brian Fletcher. I'm the mayor of the city of Ferguson. In July of last year, the City Council unanimously approved Proposition S to be placed on the April 2000 ballot. Proposition S will allow for the improved safety of our firehouse facility, which has been aging for quite some time, built in 1952. The film that you're about to watch was put together by our firefighters to show the need for a replacement fire station. This will be on the ballot in April of 2011. Please watch for the information and make the decision you feel is appropriate in the election of April 2011.
Since 1905, the Ferguson Fire Department has been answering the call for help. Over the past 116 years, the department has grown in order to maintain the level of service the citizens of Ferguson have come to expect. The original fire station was nothing more than a wooden shed that housed the fire engine. The firefighters had no living area and would sleep on fire hoses. It was in 1952 that the firehouse was moved from its original location on Florissant Road to the city government building on Church Street, where it remains today.
Well, it was built in 1953, and we transferred from a very small place up on Florissant Road that housed the police and the fire department, and it was built for 4 people, 4 firefighters. And I understand now that you're now housing 8 firefighters in here. It wasn't designed for that. It wasn't designed for the type of equipment you got in here now.
In addition to traditional firefighting, today's fire department must be prepared to respond to many different emergencies. Emergency medicine, vehicle electrification, hazardous material, ice and water rescue, and ropes and high-angle rescue, just to name a few.
Back in the days when I started, the training amounted to get on the back of the truck and hold on, and we'll tell you what to do when we get there. Well, since that time, there's been a lot more training needed, expertise as far as the background information you need to do your job. We found that the building area was not very conducive to those training efforts.
The Ferguson Fire Department also performs a variety of services in the community, like educating children about fire safety, providing instruction on fire safety and emergency aid to citizens, training the Ferguson Citizen Emergency Response Team, and the Ferguson Fire Department is just one of a handful of fire departments in the area who provide certified child car seat technicians. This service offers parents instruction on how to properly install child car seats and correctly buckle the child. All of these services are provided in addition to firefighters' daily assigned duties and responding to calls for service 24 hours a day.
The Ferguson Fire Department responds to over 3,000 calls a year for service. These calls range from fires to medical emergencies to hazardous material incidents. Fire apparatus used in a modern fire department are bigger than they were in the 50s, and the space has become a major issue for us.
The size of the current firehouse just isn't big enough to house today's fire trucks. The pumper that's currently housed there barely fits in its engine bay, and the Ferguson ladder truck has to park outside. Nor is it large enough to house today's fire department personnel. Its living quarters are manned around the clock by 8 responders, male and female, sharing cramped quarters with one shower and an open bunk room that affords little privacy. A dated workout area in the basement made up primarily of equipment brought from home can make it challenging for firefighters to maintain their physical fitness. Finding places to train can prove difficult as well.
One of the major drawbacks right now is our training facilities, which are almost none. If we have to do more of a physical training where we're gearing up, practicing search and rescue of citizens or other firefighters, we're having to use facilities in the basement. It was really set up as a weight room that has a major leak right now. We can do it in the living quarters, but that's also cramped. We have to move furniture. At this time, we're having to go as far as Blackjack to use a training tower. Then our trucks are out of town. It makes for much longer response times. It would be a huge benefit if we were able to have a training facility on site.
The location on Church Street also presents several safety concerns. When approaching the busy intersection at Florissant Road, emergency vehicles are obscured by buildings on either side. Notice how even with lights and sirens blaring, the crossing traffic has no idea they are coming until they are nearly in the intersection. This dangerous situation plays out several times every day.
Anytime you back up a fire truck, it becomes a safety hazard. We have to be concerned with all our blind spots. So every time we come back from a call, we have to drop off the firefighters in a busy road to stop traffic. And then the firefighter has to back up. We have to make sure there's no kids coming up and down the street, going to school or getting off of school. And then the firefighter driving the truck has to worry about backing into a narrow, dark building, which we have about 2 inches on each side of the mirror to clear as he's backing in.
Whenever we respond to EMS calls out of the back of the firehouse, the first thing we have to do is negotiate our way through the parking lot, which on court nights or council meetings can be pretty busy. Then we get out the back of the parking lot, turn onto Lewis Road, and if the school that runs next to here happens to be letting out, we have cars on both sides of the roads. We have children running for their cars to go home, and so that can be extremely hazardous. We get out to Church Street, and we have the school buses sitting out in front, which limits our vision as far as making our turn. We can't see cars or children running across the street.
The building itself also presents several safety issues. They range from not having more than one exit from the upstairs living quarters to major structural flaws that architects have deemed a serious risk. Here's Ferguson City Manager John Shaw to tell you more about why the city feels this bond is necessary.
Last year, the city retained an architectural firm to examine the condition of the existing firehouse number 1 and the police department building. While both structures were found to be functionally obsolete, the firehouse in particular was found to have significant structural flaws that make it inadequate for the public safety needs of a 24-hour firehouse. The recommendation in this case was to construct a new firehouse that would be designed to act as a true 50-year facility, as opposed to performing repairs on a building that regardless would eventually need to be replaced. Now, because the city does not have the necessary funds available for this project, which has been estimated not to exceed $11 million, the recommended alternative funding source is a general obligations bond. In this instance, a property tax would be levied to pay for the property acquisition, engineering, construction costs, and other related expenses for the new firehouse, the police department additions, and the conversion of the existing firehouse. To give you a clearer picture of what this means for the average citizen in Ferguson, if you own a $100,000 home, it would cost you an additional $86 approximately for the year on your property tax bill. Of course, this breaks down to a little over $7 per month to cover the total cost of the public safety project.
The new firehouse will provide safer location for the citizens and their firefighters. Its drive-through engine bays will eliminate the dangerous practice of backing in and be able to house the ever-expanding size of apparatus needed to meet the demands of today's fire department. There will be built-in training facilities able to simulate real-world situations and a classroom for continuing education and improved living quarters, all helping to ensure that you are continuing to receive the most current and proficient service available.
The design of the new engine house is taken into consideration and will meet all of our needs for our training, both as far as technology and space available. It will provide us with a safe working environment where we are away from the public, and it also will allow us to continue with our many certifications. The training tower will give us the opportunity to work on high-angle rescue as well as our aerial operations.
The Ferguson Fire Department would like to thank the citizens of Ferguson for their continued support and express our desire to serve the citizens of Ferguson with the high standards they've come to expect for the next 116 years.
3014, 3020, and respond to a first alarm. Report of a house fire.
Thank you for your time again. We hope that this film will enable you to make an informed decision voting in the April 2011. Again, please exercise your right and privilege to vote. Thank you.